See, I have no rhythm. Here I am. It's the Krisha and Frank show, and here I am trying my best to do the thing that professional
Ain't nothing gonna bring my stride.
videographers do, where you do the basic,
Spot on me? No.
the one camera mark, two camera mark, whatever. I've been in enough shows that I know this is a thing.
Yeah.
But we hadn't done them here, and I have spent the last several days instead of obsessing on Facebook and Twitter, I've been watching YouTube videos about vlogging cameras.
Yes.
Where they're doing side-by-side comparisons of this model and that model, so they always have to have the clap, the two-camera mark, and they sync up the audio in post.
Yep.
Which is much more work, but it
is.
It can work.
It's a good work.
So anyway, I want to get in the habit of doing the two-camera, or the one camera mark, because when we buy our fancy new camera soon...
Yeah, we're going to have to straighten up and fly right.
We're going to have to change a few things. Hi, Krisha.
Hi, Frank.
How are you?
You know, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, speaking of YouTube.
Please do.
If you would like to continue to see this. And even if, real talk, even if you don't watch every single episode, just hit the subscribe button because it helps us.
Yeah, we need to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. We've stalled out a little.
Yeah, and I need your help getting there. And that would be a good thing for us. And the other next step is, I know that a lot of our traffic is coming from Facebook. And with...
Oddly enough.
So the next thing I got to do is just put the links somewhere else out there, like on a website, create more options.
We're working on that, but you can follow us and subscribe on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on all of your podcast listening
That's where you
apps.
hear the show, right? You watch the show on YouTube, you hear the show on any of the podcasting apps, including Audible Pod.
Oh, yes. You can go to audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank, sign up for a 30-day free trial, which you're going to want to keep it anyway.
Because you don't just hear us. We are on there. I checked.
We are.
But you can also hear any number of whatever if you're paying for the unlimited subscription, the whole world is your Audible oyster.
And to be honest, I haven't been on my Audible as much because I'm not driving to Gatlinburg back and forth anymore.
Wow.
And I'm not on social media. I've been reading actual tactile books.
Well, you can buy those from the parent company,
Yes,
so that I don't think they're going to mind.
Nope.
But that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You'll have to, a lot of us, me, I'm not in it, I shouldn't even say us.
A lot of me.
I have read and heard that a lot of folks during pandemic times missed their daily commute. Now, it sounds crazy to say that because you had a hellacious daily commute.
But you get into a routine of things that you listen to, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and so now I'm kind of like...
Well, I read an article suggesting for the people who now are going to be permanently working at home. And some companies, I have a friend whose company has decided to they let the lease go on their office and studios because all of the jocks are just going to voice track from their homes in London.
Weird.
But I
don't
also
know who that could be.
Also, I'm familiar with some other companies locally who are saying, "Look, we're not even going to bother. Everybody's going to voice track from home just yet."
My stepdaughter Emily works for a company that they're not going back. They're not getting rid of their beautiful, wonderful, fancy offices.
They had filled up that office so fast they started renting an office in the janky space. Renting space in the janky building across the street.
Yeah, and so, but they're not going back. Like intermittently, they're having people, but they're working from home.
So if you're doing that, and now you are in this mode where you don't currently have anywhere to go, their advice is that take the time that maybe you normally would be sitting in the car and do something with it that puts you in that mindset. Like, in other words, commute to the living room. If before you just go dive in, take that time and go. You could literally go sit in the car.
It's like centering yourself.
Or you could sit in some chair somewhere, just stand, whatever you do, go for a walk. Do something that replaces your commute, that gets your head ready for work.
Yeah, because it's almost like a meditation. You're preparing yourself for your day or what you're doing.
Now, this is amazing to me because most of my life, my commute to work was just a white knuckle terror. What?
I just love it. I love the idea of you trying to get to work like...
Yeah, it was the least relaxing time of my day.
That's so funny.
Because and depending on the show that I was on, either the pressure of getting there on time,
right,
at early in the morning, or just the idea of coming up with things to talk about, to describe, but in a way, taking the story like here on the I love the podcast. I love doing the podcast with you.
I do too.
Because I can take one story and it can go 10 minutes and then we're done and we move on to the next story.
Right.
I was recently finding some old work samples of me telling stories, and it was all the same facts of the story boiled down to 75 seconds.
Oh, it's the most stressful thing, and you've got to find.
Sound so rushed.
You've got to find your beginning, middle, and end, and say it so succinctly that it almost becomes, and the people who are great like in morning radio and that can do that so well, and like it's not easy to just go, okay, you have 75 seconds to tell an entire story and get a reaction enough to get a reaction from listeners that they participate with.
Well,
you.
I played the tape for Jerry because she hadn't heard of this stuff. And I was actually, I'm not going to boast. I am going to boast a little bit. I was proud of myself because there's this one story where I'm just talking about losing my coffee scoop. And it's, a minute and a half, minute 15, minute and a half, somewhere in that ballpark range. But the excruciating level of detail that I kept inserting into the story, I sounded like Gene Shepard on acid.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Or Gene Shepard on what would he be? Not acid.
On Coke?
Yeah. Because it's blah, 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 and I'm just getting to it. And I'm very satisfied with the ending.
I gotta pop my.
I have a cup,
I'm fine.
All right. I brought you.
Look at, see, nobody can even see what it is.
All right. So anyway, we just talked about
it looks like
nothing for 7.5 minutes or 8 minutes, whatever it was.
If you look in the camera, it looks like I'm drinking an old-timey pharmaceutical potion.
There was a beer that, in the old days, a wide mouth beer. Was it Ballantine? I don't know. That just reminds me of an old-timey beer bottle from my childhood that some uncle or grandfather or somebody would drink.
It's delicious is what it is.
It is. It's coffee?
Black unsweetened cold brew.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So just bitter. Just bitter as all heck.
Are you getting over your bitterness?
No, I'm intentionally ingesting more bitterness. I'm old. Honestly, I've lost my taste for coffee lately. Do you ever go?
Do you remember all right, go ahead. I want to hear yours.
Do you ever
first.
go through periods of time, because I know you're a coffee drinker like I am, where you go, you realize you haven't been drinking as much coffee, and when you do, you're like,
No, I still drank the same amount, but I found myself forcing it, like, oh.
Right.
And then I had this awakening, because remember that my daughter told me my coffee was terrible.
Yes.
And I was laughing about the old U-Band commercials where she never asked for a second cup at my house.
Right.
And she was right, because we had to buy, instead of the Starbucks dark roast that I buy, we had to buy the Dunkin' Donuts house blend for her.
I don't like Dunkin'.
And it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't strong enough. So she suggested, we ran out of it while she was here, which was the best accident that could happen.
Right.
Because now Megan's going to make a pot of coffee, and she does the Starbucks, but she only puts in half as much
as you do.
As I do. If I was putting in 8, she put in 5.
Okay.
5 scooped.
Right.
And it tasted pretty good. And so I've been doing 5.5, like 6 flat scoops instead of 8 heaping, and it tastes better all of a sudden. So I have to admit,
because you're brewing it properly,
that everyone else was right and I was wrong. So now I'm enjoying the coffee again.
Look at that,
because I changed the formula.
I've been drinking
tea. It said on the bag it was 10 waters and 8 crowns.
Maybe, but Starbucks likes to sell you more coffee than you need.
And I don't need as much.
No.
You're right. By using less, that's what my wife said, it'll last longer. I'm like,
that's what I'm drinking right now.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Is it bitter?
It's bitter.
They used to call it Charbucks, or the people who compete against them call it Charbucks.
Well, they do have a burnt taste.
Yeah, that's
a lot of their coffee.
I interviewed a guy in Maryville has a roastery. John Clark. Vienna coffee, delicious.
Oh, their coffee is good.
I could afford it, and I would buy that all the time.
Right.
But he was explaining that, they call it Charbucks because that's the Seattle style, or certainly the West Coast style of burning the beans slightly, because that's their signature taste. Yep. And he was not about that. He was doing his thing.
Yeah.
Flavoring the beans, pouring in these potions while the beans are in the roaster. It's exciting to watch.
Do you remember on Monday's show when I randomly said, if you would like to sponsor and support our podcast, and you were like, we should put up the email address?
I did.
We have a new sponsor.
It's exciting.
I should say that more often.
You should. And I should also text my friends who own businesses more. But
can't you just pretend that that's not how it happened?
It's exactly how it happened, Krisha, because your words to the ears of the Middleburg barn in Middleburg, Virginia. It's at Fox Chase Farm.
And
now,
you and I have been trying to go to there.
I've been there a few times myself.
But I mean, as I was going to say as a couple.
As a
couple.
duo.
As
I think we're allowed to call ourselves a duo, but not a couple.
I almost said as a couple, but
I know what you meant.
You know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean.
When the barn opened in 2017, my friend Marine, and she's Irish, but she's got a regular American accent, but I like
she's got a regular accent.
But she goes to Ireland a lot. We love when we talk to each other, we put on these fake cartoony more Irish accents the entire time. But anyway, Maureen decided to build this wedding venue on her farm, but she didn't want to do it the regular way, so there's no nails.
Right. It's the old style.
It's like a tongue and groove. There's actually a mortise and tenon, I think is the term for it.
It's so cool.
So it's built the authentic way, which means it's more durable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the thing, it's like this luxury barn for weddings and events and private parties, and it's gigantic. So you can put, if you were packing it all the way full, it would be 400 people, but you can do 100. You can do 100 people, 200 people. It doesn't matter.
So you can go check it out at themiddleburgbarn.com, and it's right there.
And when it grand opened, is that right? When the grand opening was occurring in 2017, we were
going to go to there.
A trip, but the dates didn't. So I had my vacation lined up because we both had day jobs, right?
Right.
And but the opening of the barn ended up because of the construction being pushed back. We were supposed to go perform and do wacky comedy at the grand opening of the Middleburg barn, but we'll still
do that anymore.
We can up there. We could do it. No one would know.
Okay. But it's a ballroom. It's in the Greater Washington D.C. area.
Yeah, 40 miles outside D.C.
Like weddings, corporate event, fundraiser, private parties, and it's gorgeous. So you can take
state-of-the-art stuff.
Yeah, take a nice little drive.
Oh yeah, I think we should go there and just ride horses because they have horses. It's a horse farm.
I want to go to there.
And when you rent out the place for a wedding or event, whatever your event is, you get it for all 12 hours. You get it from noon to midnight. You can also rent the guest cottage on the facility, use that as a bride's room, or just literally
Frank
stay there.
Stay there.
It's nice. It is nice. They got this how do you say that?
Swarovski
crystal chandeliers. They put in a whole new HVAC filter with the disinfectant ultraviolet light.
That's cool.
Zip, zap, zing, zang, zoom.
So check it out, themiddleburgbarn.com or area code 540-687-5255.
Wow, look at you. I'm impressed.
I read the copy.
Yeah. You've been reading a lot, though.
I have.
Not just copy points that I emailed you, which I'm impressed.
Well, I mean, I read the copy that you sent me, and then you have it here.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's right there.
It's right there.
That's why we have the Chromebook in the shop.
There. Right there. I'm lazy.
I don't know about that.
I'm lazy.
Are you? Well, everyone's a little lazy.
When it snowed on Christmas Eve, I did not, because I park on the street.
Oh, yeah, you were going to go for a hike in the mountains, but on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day, but that didn't happen.
How could you?
But when it snowed on Christmas Eve, I park on the street, and I didn't do the thing where you pull the wipers away from your... Right?
Oh,
which is what I typically do when I park outside.
Okay, I've had parked in the garage so long I forgot to do that.
I call it a wiper wedgie.
You're right. When I used to go to work and it was going to snow, you pull the wipers forward and you take the brush into work with you.
Right.
So that you don't have to open the car door to get it. You already have it.
You can foof it off and scrape it off.
Before you open the car door.
I did not do that. So, unfortunately... When I got into my car, I'd left my wipers on because it had been raining when I parked it.
Uh-oh.
And my passenger side wiper was frozen. Well, they both were. But my passenger side wiper was so frozen that it ripped the tip of the wiper off. So now it's just the dangly bit. And my driver's side one is fine.
So when it rains, you got a dangly bit?
I've got a dangly bit.
You need to undangle it.
It's not scratching. But... That was on Christmas Day.
Okay.
The day after Christmas.
So that's been several weeks
Several weeks now. I need new wipers. I have been in a Walmart. I have been in a Target.
Wouldn't you want to
numerous times
go to a place where they might just do it for you?
I hate that.
Why?
Because I can do it myself. It's not hard.
Yeah, but you could go to a lot of these auto part places.
And I just,
the guy will,
sometimes if you're like, I really don't know how to do this. Can you help me get the wipers? First of all.
They do it for me and I don't have to put on the voice.
I'll never do it.
I just say, hey, I want,
Can you help me? I just like doing it on my own. It's like why I like changing my blinker light when it blew out. I like doing that on my own. It took forever.
Oh, wow. Yes,
because I had to take apart the back end of my car.
Well beyond my skill level.
But I hate that task so much, whether I'm changing them myself or asking someone else to do it, which I have done both. I hate the task so much.
But you like the idea
of having working wipers?
Right.
Yes.
So if you can make it so that the concept, the joy you get from that fresh wipe.
I'm not saying I get joy from any kind of fresh wipe. I am annoyed.
Wait, I thought...
I'm just annoyed that it costs money and that I have to like think about it and do it and it.
Well, how do you feel about tires? Because tires are equally disposable. They wear out.
But that's not something I can do on my own.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's a task I can do on my own.
But maybe move it into the task that you clearly won't do on your own.
Nope. No, I can't do that.
Because you say you can do it on your own, but you're not doing it.
Right, because I don't want to.
So therefore, it's something you can't do mentally. Maybe you can do it physically, but you can't do it mentally.
But I don't even want to go to the store and invest. And if I have to go to the bank, I will put those two tasks off. If I have to physically go to a bank, I will put it off until I will drive past said bank 1,000 times. And I will put it off because I hate going to the bank.
Huh. What part of it?
I don't know.
Because they got drive-thrus.
Well, you can't even go in any bank right now.
Oh, no, you can.
Not any of the ones that I go to.
You got to get a new bank.
First Horizon.
But that's not real. That's not a real name for a bank, is it?
Well, it used to be First Tennessee, and they changed it to First Horizon.
Oh, okay.
You have to say it like that.
I didn't know that. I mean, I worked for... that was my go-to job when I was trying to break into radio. Mm-hmm. In high school, I worked as a bank teller in senior year, and then when I moved to Virginia and Wolf Trap burns down, and I don't have a job, I go work as a bank teller. It used to be my fallback job.
Nice.
And but you're right. Some of these bank mergers that happened over the years, my National Bank of Fairfax became part of Sovran, Sovran. That's not a word.
That's not a word.
They made up a word.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sovereign. But they made up a new word because they knew that would not be used in copyrights.
What was the one that Wayne Brady did commercials for? Fifth Third Bank. What is that?
How can that be a thing?
I don't know. Regions was my bank for a really long time.
Yeah, that used to be something else.
Yeah.
They all change names eventually because they merge and they legally have to.
Right.
But see, now
First Tennessee is now First Horizon.
I have no problem going to the bank. I'm you know.
Oh,
again, I'm comfortable there. I walk in and you mask up, you stand in line, you do the thing. It's at least a little bit of human interaction.
Like drive through, it's just there's always 1,000 people there, and you got to make the chit chat. And
I must have a less popular bank than you, because it's like a ghost town when I go.
Yeah, no, I go to First Horizon. That's my bank.
But I mean, there's got to be a branch that the neglected little branch that nobody likes.
Maybe
go to that one.
But I also have to go to Y12.
Okay.
Because.
That's not the nuclear plant or whatever it is.
I have
Security.
to go to the bank.
They have a credit union for their thing.
Yeah, so I have to go there once a month. I have to go to the credit union.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's a chore for you.
Yeah, and so in the very same way, like I just don't like the wiper chore. I also don't like getting gas. I hate getting gas.
That is kind of a pain, but
I was at Kroger yesterday where I have gas points.
Yeah.
And I was so irritated at the thought that I needed gas, and I was on almost empty that I drove all the way back home to where I'm staying.
Just to not get gas.
I drove all the way back home.
That's crazy.
Parked my car, and then on the way here remembered, shoot fire, I need gas because my gas light was on, and ended up going to Weigel's where I don't have a discount.
It pays more.
And
it costs more.
I paid 10 cents more than I would have paid had I just done my task yesterday.
That's crazy talk. That's crazy
right.
talk. You need to figure out a way to do these chores, like go to the bank or go get the wiper blades on the way to something else. So you're doing 2 for 1.
Well, yeah.
And Jerry and I have turned tanking up the gas into like a gas party. We caravan and take both cars And I realize you're single and alone, but you take your caravan.
God bless.
Desperate. But.
Oh, look, 21 minutes. We got to go.
Now, the first minute and a half was me doing a camera test. Remember all that? I'm going to cut all that out. What Jerry and I do is we caravan and we park on either side of the gas pump and we pass the nozzle back and forth so we can get the same discount on both cars.
I know. People do that all the time. That's what pisses me off at Kroger. I'm like, get your coupledom out of my way.
So if you saw Jerry and me doing that, you'd be mad at us.
I would use my horn for its intended purpose.
Even if
No,
it's
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Happy if I let you in on that deal. Come on over, Chris. I'll save you 30 cents a gallon.
I wouldn't at all. I wouldn't be upset.
All right.
That's not why I'm upset.
Why are you upset?
Single and alone, desperate.
I can't keep up. You'll have to give me a note as to where we are on the spectrum.
No, I am single and alone.
Right.
Right.
But you can still have fun going to the gas station.
You can still have fun going to the gas station.
You can still find something.
I'm not desperate either.
Maybe there's a gas station that'll fix your wiper blades while you're there. Like in the olden days. Does anybody still have...
There used to be a gas station on the corner of North Shore and Kingston Pike.
Yeah.
That was a full-service gas station that was the only gas station my mamaw would go to. She lived in Concord and would drive to that gas station, get gas in her Cadillac, buy Vantage 100, stop at Butler and Bailey, get filet mignon steak for one, and drive back to her Concord home. That was her outing for like the week.
So you could
All
do
the
something
while
like
easy
that.
listening on the radio.
You could do something like that.
Okay, now you won. You won me. If I can mamaw it up, if I can smoke Vantage 100s and crack the passenger side window and use the built-in ashtray of my mauve Cadillac, I'll be damned. That is 100% what I'll do. In fact, sign me up.
Yep. Now you're set. It's the Krisha and Frank show.
My mama was fine. My papa died. She was fine for 20 years.
Yeah.
Single, alone, not desperate. But she had full service gas station.
That's all you need. You need full service.
All
That's
right.
all you're lacking
I gotta
in your
move
life.
to Jersey. Can't pump your own gas in Jersey.
That is true. Or Oregon, too.
Oh, I got 2 places I can live. Bang.
Do subscribe
I'm
on
sit
any
here
of
and drink
the
my potion.
audio podcast apps and give us a fine rating, won't you? Share it with your friends somehow, because obviously you might have to text it to them or email them about the Krisha and Frank show and on YouTube as well. You good?
I'm good.
All right. Those sunglasses look great on you, I'd like to point out.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you. Please do join us back here tomorrow. Right? Oh, dang.
I might have a heart attack. I don't know. My cholesterol might get too high. Might need to go for a colonoscopy.
You got time for that.
Oh, I'm not old enough yet.